Michigan Avenue. This is Good Day Chicago.
Ahead of the holiday weekend, we're getting you ready here on Good Day Chicago.
Yes, we are, and we hope you're already off to a great day.
Yes, we do. All right, we got a lot in store for you here. Mayor Brandon Johnson just announced a new effort that seems aimed at stopping those teen takeovers.
Yes, the West Garfield YMCA is hosting a community basketball night. They say it will be a safe space where teens can get together and play games. On a weekend, we typically see a spike in violence. We're going to be talking to an alderman about this in just a little bit.
And Highland Park hosting fireworks for the first time since the deadly mass shooting at the holiday parade nearly 4 years ago. That shooting killed 6 people, left dozens of others hurt. Highland Park will not be holding a public remembrance this year. Officials say they made the decision based on feedback from victims.
Well, services back up and running on the Yellow Line after storms snapped a tree right on the tracks. 31 people had to be rescued and evacuated off of that train. They were stuck for about an hour, but everyone, this is good news, made it off safely.
People across Chicagoland cleaning up after those severe storms.
Yes, we have live team coverage. Caitlin Cody is tracking what's in the forecast for this holiday weekend. But first, Saquon is live to show us the storm damage right in Elmhurst. I don't know about you, Natalie, but I heard the storm woke me up right in the middle of the night. So I can only imagine, what some of our viewers are dealing with because we keep having these rounds of storms.
Yeah, I mean, I can relate. I honestly slept through the entire night, all of those storms, but a lot of neighbors this morning have been saying it was a very loud night last night, and this is the kind of damage that some of them are waking up to. In the last half hour or so, we showed you this, not a tree, but a really big branch from a tree that was lying here in the roadway. Crews just got here in the last 10 minutes, and they are starting to remove that debris out of the roadway so that traffic can flow again on Cottage Hill Avenue. Once again, this is in Elmhurst, just across from the Elmhurst Art Museum. This morning, we actually spoke with a man who's been living here for 6 years now. He says he was woken up in the middle of the night by his neighbor who told him there was a fire in his backyard. Listen to this.
We had a wild night. We woke up at 1:45 to a doorbell ring, and our neighbor said that she was letting her dogs out, and she noticed in the backyard there was a big fire in our tree. So one of the live wires fell onto our branches, and it's been smoking all night. It's still going. A lot of these small branches and a couple of these bigger ones kind of topple over every once in a while, but I've never seen a fire in my backyard.
So we actually got to see firsthand what Tom was talking about. Those storms last night knocked down several big branches onto power lines that run right through people's backyards, including Tom's. It's kind of hard to see because that down line was hiding right behind a tree, but it was still smoking when we were there. We even saw it reignite into a flame for a few seconds. Miraculously, guys, Tom said he only lost power for about 5 minutes last night, and it's actually been back on since. Meanwhile, his neighbors on that same street, they are not able to say the same. Many of them are using generators to get through the day. I want you to take a look at this as well. This video might give you a better idea of just how intense those storms were last night, with heavy rain and lightning, again, knocking down, for the most part, big branches, but we are also hearing reports of downed trees in the area as well. Right now, ComEd is reporting almost 500 outages, and actually a good cluster of those outages are either in or around Elmhurst. Nearly 11,000 customers at this time are said to be affected. ComEd also put out this video on their social media pages last night, thanking customers on Chicago's west side and the western suburbs for their patience. In that post, it says, in part, our crews are all hands on deck, completing repairs, integrating emergency generators, and working around the clock to keep power flowing safely to your homes and businesses. Back out here live in Elmhurst, a lot of people kind of looking around to see what exactly is going on. Once again, a lot of these neighbors have been just making their rounds this morning, trying to see what kind of damage a lot of people in this area are waking up to. You can see crews are starting to break that branch down into little pieces. They're going to put it off to the side into one pile so that it's easier for them to pick up. Guys, back to you.
Lots of hard work out there. They're making progress. Thank you, Say. And luckily, they don't have to deal with the heat that we've had to deal with for the last several days.
Yes, hopefully that is dying down, at least for a little bit. Caitlin Cody is here to tell us what we can expect. A lot of people just excited for the weekend. So we're hoping that the weather matches the energy that we got going on.
Because we got fireworks to watch, right? We have parades to go to. We are going to have rounds of wet weather, including thunderstorms possible, unfortunately. So it is going to be a situation tonight as well as tomorrow where you have to know what's going on, check in on the radar. You can download our free Fox Fox 32 weather app if the skies look like they're getting dark and you are outside, and have a backup plan. Have somewhere where you can dip indoors to get away from the rain and storms. Right now it is 80 degrees. It's beautiful. Really, look at that sky. It's perfect. South-southwest breeze, 10 miles per hour. Feels like 84. So yes, we are going to have a touch of a break today with that feel-like temperature reaching the upper 90s. We do still have that extreme heat warning in effect for Kankakee, Jasper, Newton counties. The rest of us, no extreme heat warning, but we do have the concern for some heavy rainfall. Looking at our satellite radar, you can see that rain moving in from the northwest. We are going to have that potential, especially as we head into the afternoon. That chance ramps up for strong to severe thunderstorms. Temperatures outside ranging in the 70s and 80s. Right now it's 82 degrees in Gary, 83 in Joliet, and 76 in DeKalb, 78 at Woodstock. So here's our severe weather outlook for today. We have a level 2 out of 5 for everyone. That's that slight risk for severe storms. Biggest threat being damaging wind, but also we could see some heavy downpours and, of course, lightning. That's what you don't want when you're outside. And then tomorrow we have a marginal risk for some strong to severe weather, especially leaning south of the city. Here's your 3-day forecast. Highs right around 90 today, 86 tomorrow, and then on Sunday 83. Again, it's going to feel like we could be pushing to around the mid to upper 90s this afternoon with the heat index. But the bigger concern today is going to be that chance for thunderstorms, which I'll show you our model and what we're thinking is going to play out today and tomorrow ahead.
All right, Caitlin, we got to talk about reality here. The 4th is a lot of fun, but it's also a time where we tend to see more violence.
And Brittany Toulis is live to show us what members of the community, City of Chicago, are doing to prepare. Brittany?
Hey guys, violence interrupters are planning to hit the streets this weekend. Now, last year, the city saw its least violent 4th of July weekend in years. And these activists are hoping their efforts this weekend will keep that trend going. Now, last year, over the 4th of July weekend, 44 people were shot and 9 total died. That being the least violent 4th of July weekend here in Chicago since 2019. Now, later this morning, the violence interrupters will be holding a press conference laying out their plan to hit the streets, hoping to keep those numbers down. Community teams throughout the night will be providing conflict mediation, mentorship, safety, housing resources, and any other outreach needed. The head, Tio Hardiman, believing their work is needed looking at this year's CPD crime stats. So far, the city's seen over 680 shootings, 30 of them mass shootings with 4 or more victims. The organization highlighting 3 recent incidents, including one I covered yesterday in the Auburn Gresham neighborhood. 2 were killed and 2 shot there. Then in June 19th, 12 were hurt in a Roseland drive-by. And earlier in June, 2 were killed and 5 hurt in a back of the yard shooting. Now, this press conference will be starting at about 10:30 a.m. They'll be laying out all the efforts they're planning to put into practice this weekend. And guys, we'll be there to hear all of it and relay all of that information right back to you.
Brittany, a lot of people might question violence interrupters, the concept of that, because we have had so many shootings in the city of Chicago. Is this something that's really working? From the people that you've spoken to, what is their take on that?
Hey guys, the president of Violence Interrupters, Tio Hardiman, actually told Fox 32 just a couple of weeks ago that so far this year, the Violence Interrupters have helped prevent nearly 40 potentially fatal incidents throughout the city using weapons. And some of those incidents, he says, may have happened on CTA property as well. Again, this is all from that organization. And it is hard to kind of fact check these numbers just because these incidents didn't happen. But that's what they're saying. They prevented 40 incidents so far this year.
Very good point there, Brittany. Brittany Toulis on the job for us as always, bright and early this morning. Thank you so much for that report. And we do plan to take that press conference live when it happens at 10:30 this morning. Here is a question for you, I should say. Ever wonder what $1 million actually looks like? Chicago's Money Museum knows. They join us to talk about their new exhibits coming your way next. All right, 9/11 on your Friday morning. You're probably still in bed. But you know what? Money makes you wake up. And maybe it's Friday for you. You just got paid. It is a milestone makeover. The Chicago Fed's Money Museum is celebrating its 25th anniversary with brand new exhibits, including a historic look at currency along Route 66.
And here to take us inside is museum team lead Jennifer Bridge. Jennifer, good morning to you. Tell us how the museum is celebrating its anniversary.
Yes, so the Money Museum was founded in July of 2001, and we're celebrating by inviting the public in to see some of our updated exhibits and also our new temporary exhibit on the connection between Route 66 and commerce in the 7th District.
Okay, Jennifer, before we came to you, I said, where is the money? Because I like money and I like to see it. So I want you to answer that. Oh, it's in your hands.
What do you have there?
So this is shredded money. This is shredded bills. The Federal Reserve Bank is a bank for banks. And part of what we do is when banks deposit excess cash for safekeeping here, we do run it through high-speed processing machines. And any bills that are unfit currency, we shred and take out of circulation. If you visit the Money Museum, you can pick up some shredded currency as a souvenir. This is almost $400 by weight in shredded currency.
Wow.
Well, I'm going to ask because I see, and this is no slight to the museum at all, but I see a lot of reading behind you. And I know if I took my 6-year-old, that would not be her forte. So what do you have for the kids out there to see, touch? Like, how can we get them involved and interested?
Sure. So we have all kinds of cool artifacts. We have 3 displays of $1 million. We have a giant money cube that's $1 million in ones. We have a briefcase of 100s. It looks like something out of the movies, and a dome of 20s. We have all kinds of interactives. We have a kinetic sculpture. We see a lot of families with kids here, and they seem to really enjoy the experience.
Good.
Okay, Jennifer, I hate to put you on the spot, but we're going to do a little math here. Maybe somebody out there has never, most people have never touched $1 million, never even seen $1 million. Some people haven't seen, money in the thousands. How much does $1 million even weigh?
So $1 million in ones weighs a ton.
Wow, that's amazing.
Interesting information.
What a great question, Tia.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's talk about this Route 66 exhibit. It's obvious what inspired it. It's the anniversary of Route 66, but tell us what people can see when they check that out.
Sure. So our exhibit focuses on the relationship of the states in the 7th District, which is what the Chicago Fed serves. And that includes parts of Illinois, Indiana, Michigan, Wisconsin, and the state of Iowa. And it just so happens that Route 66, the beginning of the route, comes right past our building here on Jackson Street. So we thought this was a fantastic opportunity to talk about the connections between transportation and our economy. Our district includes Detroit, the Motor City.
Jennifer, someone may be watching right now thinking, okay, I have a little free time this weekend with my family. I'm over the fireworks. I've heard them all week long. I want to do something else. Are you open this weekend, and where can people go to find out your hours?
So we are open today from 10 to 5, July 3rd. We are closed this weekend, and you can visit our website, chicagofed.org, to learn more about our hours and our location.
In your opinion, what is the most interesting fact there that people probably don't know?
Well, one of my favorite facts is from the Route 66 exhibit that it isn't just Detroit that has contributed to the automobile industry and history, but also all of our states, including cruise control, innovations like car radios. That was really fun to learn about as we were developing the new exhibit.
No, that is really interesting. Something I guess I never thought about as I'm just cruising on down the road, which was really good today because there was no traffic out there. Not that you asked, Jennifer. Tell us about some of the other permanent exhibits. I know we had video of the cases of money. Is there anything else that maybe we didn't touch on?
Sure. So we have a coin pit, which I think you had some footage of, which is got over $50,000 in coins. That's a lot of fun. We have a kinetic sculpture that shows how money moves through the economy. We have interactives on payment systems and monetary policy. Those have been recently updated. And we have a really fun counterfeit interactive that teaches you how to spot counterfeit.
I love using the word fun and counterfeit in the same sentence. Jennifer, thank you so much for giving us a tour there. We really appreciate it. Happy 4th of July to you.
You too.
All right. See you next time, Jennifer. Okay, for all of you who think that you're a NASCAR racer out there on Chicago area expressways, maybe you should go here. NASCAR makes its high-speed return to Joliet this weekend for a $1 million showdown. Brian Jackson joins us live with a preview when we come right back.
The Star.
Okay, we know you've been waiting, so I can tell you right now the wait is finally over. After 7 years, NASCAR is back at the Chicagoland Speedway right in Joliet.
And Brian Jackson, I would have loved this assignment this morning, Brian. You are alive to preview the big race this weekend.
Well, there's still time for you to get out here, Natalie, and take a couple laps around the track out here. I'm joined this morning by Jackie Herrera, the general manager here at the Chicagoland Speedway. Thanks so much for your time this morning.
Thank you. Thank you for coming out.
NASCAR finally back here. Fans have been asking for this for years. Back here, first time in 7 years. What's the vibe been around the track this week?
It's been full of energy, great vibes, and everyone ready to welcome fans.
Fans are definitely going to be excited. This is also personal for you. You grew up as a kid literally coming to this racetrack, and now you literally run the whole place. What has that experience been like for you?
It's been a full circle moment, very special. My dad got us into racing, and now to see it come full circle is a great feeling.
Now that we were saying that NASCAR is back here for the first time in 7 years, what goes into getting a racetrack like this prepared for such a big crowd this weekend?
A lot of preparation. We have support from different tracks across the industry and different staff across the industry as well. We do have a lot of cosmetic things that went on. The track was kept in phenomenal condition. So cosmetic things, basically.
And we're going to have NASCAR fans from literally all over the Midwest driving in here and going to be staying at hotels. What kind of economic driver is this for the immediate surrounding area?
Actually, we have visitors from all 50 states. and it's going to be great. Just the economic impact for the community, the visibility for the city of Joliet, and for the sport itself is great.
Now, we know people are here for the racing, but what other events are going to maybe attract maybe even your casual NASCAR fan who's never been to a race?
We'll have a classic car corral. We'll have Bud Light Music Series artist Mitchell Tenpenny. We'll have a few little things I can't disclose right now, and then we'll finish off with a fireworks show on Sunday.
And also, this isn't just for the adults. What's in store for the kids?
We do have a kids zone dedicated to the kids. We'll have some cool activities and like a Lego experience for the kids to enjoy.
I might have to join that Lego experience myself. A lot of fans are wondering, the race is back here, first time in 7 years. Do you think it's here to stay?
We'll see. I think a lot of it is also filling the seats, making sure everyone has a good time, and then maybe revisit that.
And also, another thing happening this weekend, in my last interview, I was talking to Courtney from Blue Star Families. Why is it so important to honor our military families this weekend?
I think it's just important just because this is the reason why we're here, why we're able to celebrate the 4th of July, and what better way to celebrate than NASCAR style.
And Jackie, if fans are still looking to get their hands on some tickets, what's the best way for them to come out and check out this racetrack for themselves?
Visit ChicagolandSpeedway.com. Tickets are still available. Friday, Saturday, kids are free. Sunday, kids are 50% off.
All right, Jackie, thanks so much for your time.
Thank you. Have a great day.
All right, see, now you may have to get out here, and Tia may have to bring your little ones out here to get a chance to explore the racetrack. Again, kids 12 and under are free both Friday and Saturday. Back to you guys in the studio.
I want to go, but I also want to drive. I want to be one of those people doing I don't know, how fast do they go? 200 miles per hour?
I think
or plus?
That might be a little. Brian, do you know?
How
I feel like
fast do they
200 might
go?
be. I'm not quite sure though.
200 or more. 200 or more.
Oh, man.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's my
Okay.
kind of party. In a safe space. I've never done it, but it sounds like it would be
right.
my
I
type
don't know
of
what
party.
I always equate like 200 plus with like IndyCar drivers. How fast do they go, Brian? Do you know?
That's a good question. I'm not exactly sure how fast they go, but it's over the speed limit for sure. I think we can safely
there we go.
say that.
Save for
And leave it to the
stunts.
professionals.
Yeah, we leave it to the professional. All right, speaking of the professionals, thank you, Brian. We want to go to this professional who can tell us all about the weather. Caitlin
As I
Coney.
look up the IndyCar speed, all right,
Tell
it
us,
looks
tell
like they can reach top speeds of over 240 miles per hour.
Wow.
Whoa.
Wow.
They're doing that on some of our area expressways because I've been behind people that are doing it illegally.
That's what Tia was saying before we came back from commercial. She's like, this morning was so calm and peaceful. Man, the roads are clear if you have to do some traveling today. Satellite radar this morning is quiet, but we have the chance for rain and storms ramping up this afternoon, tonight, and this weekend. A full check of your forecast is ahead.
9:26 on your Friday morning, and the tourists have landed in the city of Chicago. You can always count on, usually around Thursday, Friday, we start to see traffic around the Bean pick up. And look at all those people.
Most of them in the shadow of the Bean. So
they got the right idea.
Yeah, Caitlin, tell us about the forecast.
Well, we have the chance for rain and storms, which I've been watching these cameras behind me too, and that jet skier that we're all jealous of. He's back. He's back out there. We are in the heart of summer. Now, here's the thing. The heat has been on this week, and today it's still going to be hot. It's going to feel like we could be in the upper 90s, but our actual high temperature is going to be right around 90 degrees. It's calm and quiet now after those thunderstorms moved through last night, but we have additional showers and storms expected today, and a few could be strong to severe with gusty, damaging wind possible. Also heavy rain and lightning, of course. So behind me, you can see on our loop here, satellite radar, the rain starting to move into eastern Iowa, southern Wisconsin. But in Chicagoland, we are dry and beautiful this morning. Right now, we're sitting at 80 degrees at the lakefront and O'Hare, 79 in Aurora, and 82 at LaSalle, 83 in Morris. And temperatures in northwest Indiana are in the low 80s. Now, talking about those storms that we had last night, we actually have a few aerial flood warnings and advisories in place because of the DuPage River. So if you live in an area that is prone to flooding, outlined here in this green box, watch out for that. Standing water, don't try to drive through it. We have additional showers and storms expected, as mentioned, especially this afternoon, which will add to that potential flooding. But talking about our heat alerts, we still have a heat advisory in place from Kankakee to Jasper and Newton counties, also LaPorte County. So it's not going to be cool today. It's going to be better than it has been. Let's take a look at our futurecast because I know we're all going to be outside today. So when are these storms moving in? Well, our model is bringing them in around 2 to 3 p.m. for Chicago. You can see the widely scattered rain and storms as those temperatures push to about 90. This is 3 o'clock. Then through the evening, 8 p.m., we're still seeing some rain and storms out there. So your evening fireworks shows, hopefully we get them in. But we do have that chance for rain and storms. And unfortunately, it's going to continue into the 4th of July as well. So just stay tuned to the forecast today, especially, and again tomorrow. It is 9:29. We have so much more ahead. Keep it right here.
celebration is coming to the south suburbs this 4th of July. Matheson is expecting over 5,000 people for its 250th Independence Day concert.
Yeah, it features a Grammy winner and special tributes to local heroes. Joining us now to talk all about this is the mayor herself, Sheila Chalmers Curran. Thank you so much for coming in. We got to start out with this because Natalie said Matheson, but you know, there's this huge debate out there. Is it Matson? Is it Madison? Clear it up for us. You're the mayor, you know.
I'm going to clear this up once and for all. It's Matheson, and you are correct.
Okay, because I've been saying Matson with other stories, okay? I got an email from a viewer, but our own Brian Jackson grew up there, and he says Matson.
Matson.
Well, you know what? We'll let him get away with it.
Okay, he's a good guy.
And we know he grew up there, and I know his family is still there, but it is Matheson.
Okay, all right. Thanks for clearing that up. Okay, so let's talk about Concert at the Hall.
Yes.
And how exciting this is. Talk about, you know, that you did this for residents.
I do it for residents. This is a time to come together and have love, community, and family there, and listen to some good music.
Yeah.
So it's an exciting time, and we're excited about being there. You know, every year, people look forward to this. They make sure that they bring their families out right at the time when we're doing this. Family reunions come out, all those things. But it's definitely for our residents, and we want to make sure that they're happy and excited.
Yeah, I understand you have a wildly popular MC this year.
You're
That is verbatim from the press release, wildly. So tell us about who's going to be hosting this year's event.
This year's host is going to be none other than Tia Ewing.
Drum roll, please.
And I think she's going to bring her husband, too.
Yeah, I usually,
well, he's the lesser of the two.
Yeah,
she drags him along, that's fine.
But we think he's going to be there with you.
He will be there.
We are excited to have them. They're family. So they've been there before. People love them. The community loves them. And we want to see you there again. We're going to have a good time, right?
We're going to have a great time. So thank you for that. Let's talk about, you know, you are paying tribute to some really special people. And we can't forget that as we celebrate America's 250th birthday.
Yes. We're going to be honoring the late Jesse Jackson Sr. And we'll also be honoring the late Spencer Leak Jr. Both of them have done so much for our community, so much for the nation in itself, and we want to honor them. You know, Spencer Leak is not only, you know, known throughout the city of Chicago, but he's a friend and family. And he has a business, you know, right there in the village of Matheson. Right. And so many of our families have had to go through that period of, you know, with
grief,
a funeral and grief. And he was there, always there. And so we want to truly honor him, and honor his family will be there. And so we'll have a representative there for Jesse Jackson Sr. Yes.
I love that.
And then in addition to mentioning them, are there awards associated then with bringing them into the presentation?
Oh, yes. We're gonna have awards for them. We're definitely going to have other individuals out there. We're going to honor also our Congresswoman Robin Kelly, who is, you know, has been our Congresswoman for a number of years, and she lived in the village of Matheson, and we want to honor her too. So we're going to do that, and then we'll be giving honors to Jay Ivey, who is actually from the city of Matheson.
See, I'm glad that even you get
let me tell you.
Okay.
Yeah. He says Matson, so I wanted to say that as a way of, you know, honoring him. Yeah. But it is truly Matheson. But he will be honored too, and he's a Grammy Award winner. Yeah. So we want to make sure we honor him.
Talk about, you know, maybe somebody's watching right now and they haven't come to this before. They live in Madison and they're going to come. Talk about what you have available there for the kids as well, because I know Anthony Hamilton is the headliner, but it's not just, you know, for the adults.
No, this is a family-orientated type of event. We want kids to come out there. We got, over 15 food trucks. We're going to have all kinds of ice cream and freeze drinks and all those type of things. And I think they're going to be doing some kind of face painting and the things that they do for the kids itself. So we're excited to have the kids out there. But we also know that the parents are going to be with them, and we're going to have a safe event. We always have it right there. It's near our police station. You know, that at the hall is only steps away from our police station, and we're excited to have them there. But we want to make sure that people realize that this is a safe, and it's something that we want for the whole family. So come on out. They're going to be out there early. We're going to let residents in first. and then it's open to the public.
Understood.
Okay, I'll have to wait then. Since we've got you here, what is the biggest issue facing residents in that community, and what are you doing to assist in that?
Well, in reference to the community itself, we're growing and we're doing well. If you look at our record, you'll see where we were when I first came into office and where we are now. Like any community, we are always concerned about economic growth. And that is something we're working on. There are people calling me, and if I had a quarter for every time someone asks me about Lincoln Mall and what are we doing there, I'd be a rich woman. But I tell you right now that we are looking at that will be Market Square Crossing. We have changed the community in reference to what you see and what's there now that wasn't there before. So we're excited about that. But economic growth is always important, but we're growing the community there. And as far as we're one of the safest communities in the Southland, and we've always mentioned that. We'll make sure that even through this concert, we'll have no one has, are taking the day off. All of our fine police officers will be out working. So no time off on concert day. And as you know, it's very close to our police station, so we plan on having a real safe and enjoyable evening.
All right, well, we'll leave it there. Thank you so much for coming and talking about this, and I'll see you on Saturday.
I'm excited to see you.
Yeah, we're going to break a leg together.
You can bring your husband, too.
All right. He'll be the baggage. All right. A new movie gives us a glimpse at what veterans deal with when they return from war. We're talking with the filmmaker behind it, coming your way after this short break. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Welcome back. 9:41 on your Friday morning. This Independence Day, we thank those who sacrificed for our country.
And a new movie highlights the challenges that many face upon return home from war. Wilfred LaSalle is the filmmaker, the filmmaker behind The Veteran. He's here to talk more about this. So, Will, tell us about the making of this film. I know you've made other films in the past. What was different about this one, and what was the motivation?
Well, we started this journey back in 2019. I started creating these films, and 7 years later, we created The Veteran. Last year, we had The Security Guard. That film garnered tons of media attention. It touched on mass school shootings and gun violence as a whole. So what we wanted to do was bring people together. When we look at The Veteran, we're talking about the opioid crisis. We're talking about mental health and healthcare for our heroes who are being left behind. When we continue to look at veterans as a whole, we're seeing a steady decline in mental health resources, in the support they need when transitioning back into civilian life. So for me, it was more of a civil duty and a moral obligation to bring this film to the forefront and shed light on these issues.
You've had 7 films so far without a budget. How are you pulling this off, and what made you want to touch on really like these, I would guess, like widely important topics that a lot of films, when you go to the box office, they're not talking about?
Right. When you look at the indie scene, we look at the latest film that just came out that generated a lot of buzz. You're talking about the Obsession film, right? $750,000 budget. When you think about that, it's considerably low, but it's still a budget. You look at Backrooms, A24 independent film, $10 million budget, over $10 million. So when you look at those films, we're creating films with a $0 budget that resemble that of a multi-million-dollar production. That's something I take great pride in, but also creating these films was to bring people together, to also honor our heroes and continue that social advocacy journey. Now, of course, it presents its challenges. So I fund, I produce, I write, I even film everything that you see. So although the film is very cinematic and it looks very good on film and you see the actors, the message is simple, is that the quietest legacy will always leave the loudest kindness behind.
Oh, what a quote.
Very well said. Yeah.
You touched on before veterans are being left behind in many ways. Is that because the federal government is not making spending there a priority? I mean, what is fueling them being left behind? And what can we do as a country to make sure that that doesn't happen anymore?
Well, I think that we need to prioritize our heroes. These are men and women who've served this country, and when they're coming home post-deployment, we're seeing a significant increase in homelessness. Now, this is not even a New York problem, a Chicago problem. This is a silent epidemic that continues to be a crisis across America. What we need to do is start giving them the support that they need. We need to start acknowledging that there's a serious discord here in America, and what we need to do is give them that support. Most of them have given the freedoms that we are afforded here today in this country. Most of them have given their lives, which is the ultimate sacrifice, and something definitely needs to be done.
I was watching the trailer, at least one of the trailers, and there was this man who is sitting there on the ground. He has a sign. A couple comes by. The man wants to donate and give him some money because he says that he wants money, and the wife is like, oh no. And I thought, man, how many times have I seen people do that? I'm just curious, like, how did you get into the mind of understanding really what veterans go through?
Well, in this film, it's very different than anything you've ever seen.
Yeah.
The villain in this film is simply society and how we treat those who may be less fortunate than others. That was a very powerful scene to film. We also filmed another scene in the trailer where there's a gentleman coming there with the phone, and he's pretending to be on a social media website, and he is putting money inside the Veterans Cup, and then once the camera turns off, he takes it out. And that triggered a lot of people. But that's what we wanted to do. We knew that in order to make an impact, we had to hit the heart of millions of people, and I think we did that.
Yeah, you did. Good job.
In the film, does it follow just one veteran? Is it multiple veterans? How did you find those people?
So it follows one veteran. His name is Jose Torres, and the actual actor is a U.S. Army veteran. He served one tour in Iraq, and this is a story about Jose. He is hurt on a mission in Iraq. He is then prescribed opioids by the Veteran Affairs Hospital, which then becomes a downward spiral for his life. And so the character Maxwell Cade that you see is a billionaire CEO. He takes on the mantle of trying to rebuild Jose Torres' life from scratch. Jose loses his wife and his son in a terrible car accident, and his life spirals out of control. This is just one of hundreds of thousands of stories that we're highlighting here, and it's something I felt needed to be done.
Someone's watching right now. They want to see the whole film. Where can they go? Where can they go to see all of your films that you have?
All of my films are streaming on Amazon Prime, on Tubi, but with this particular film, we signed a 2-year deal with Fox Soul. So it's streaming exclusively with Fox Soul, and that's where they can catch it.
All right. Last question. What motivated you in all of this to make these films, especially, essentially at a cost to you and your time?
Well, these films come with a sacrifice. I always tell people the dream has to be bigger than the sacrifice. You have to invest in yourself. You are the biggest investment you will ever make. To me, I always wanted to make films growing up. I was always an advocate for movies. I would watch movie after movie. And I said to myself, this is something I really want to do. I didn't have the resources, but I became resourceful.
Okay. Yeah, sometimes that's all it takes, right? The will.
Absolutely.
No pun intended, will, to get it done. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
All right, we have more Good Day Chicago when we come right back. For a few hours tonight, the scoreboard matters more than the streets of Chicago. Yes, on a holiday weekend when gun violence often spikes, the West Garfield Park YMCA is opening its doors, turning basketball, boxing, video games, and community into a safe alternative for teens. And just last month, many young people told us they wanted safe spaces to gather instead of seeing teen takeovers become the only option. Tonight, city leaders will answer that call. And joining us now to talk about this is Alderman Ray Lopez. We know that he tried to push for, if teens were involved in these teen takeovers, that there would be some accountability on the parts of the families. That failed. So, Alderman, I want to get your reaction to this. This is happening tonight from 7:30 to 11:30. Some people would say, you know, this is a good move for Mayor Brandon Johnson. I want to get your opinion.
Well, good holiday weekend to you both.
Thank
yes,
you.
and I think it is a good move, but my question is, why are we only doing one event? We have seen where hundreds, if not thousands of youth descend on various locations as part of these teen trends, these open urban air events or street takeovers, and yet we are only keeping one YMCA open until 11 o'clock. We have over 600 parks in the city of Chicago. All of them should be open for extended hours all weekend if that's our concern. But all we're doing right now is a photo op for one day for 75 youth when we know that there are thousands of youth who are looking for something to do. And if you're saying that you're going to listen to what they want, if you're trying to engage them with where they want to be, then you have to put a little bit more effort into it than a one night for 75 youth.
Alderman, I just struggle with finding, when I think about this issue, a solution, because you talk to police, they say they go out to these to try to assist, and they're getting assaulted, like this police officer here. The youth are in some cases assaulting police. And then you had a roundtable, youth spoke recently, and they said we don't want events where there's adult supervision. That's why we go to these events where we can capture viral moments to increase our social media following. So what is the solution?
Well, I think you're 100% correct. We have to go to where the problem is. And the problem is that our youth do not feel as though they are part of a family unit, that they're searching for love, attention, and acceptance online as opposed to in their own living rooms. And we have to remember as well, we are the adults in this conversation, not the 14, 15-year-olds who are trying to tell us that it's their right to do mob action at 3 a.m. down Midway Plaisance in Hyde Park or on the Mag Mile. We have to do what's best for them, and sometimes that requires us to be the adult, not the friend to the youth. We can put all the best programs out there, and in many cases, we have spent millions of dollars to put public spaces available to youth and to families to engage in, but yet that's not what they're looking for. And you hit it right on the head. They want to be viral. They want to be social media famous. They want to be influencers. That is not the path forward. And oftentimes that path leads to a very dangerous end.
I want to just put it out there that obviously this is taking place in the ward of Alderman Jason Ervin, who we did reach out to try to see, what his take is on this. I would imagine he knows that this is happening in his community tonight. Based on what you just said there, Alderman, I'm just curious, what is the path to move forward here? Is there something else that will be brought, before City Council at some point to try to figure out the issue here with this teen takeover? And the reason why I ask that is because there's been several things tried, right? The SNAP curfew was tried. What you proposed was tried. All of it made it nowhere. So what's next?
Well, clearly the mayor and his allies don't have the political fortitude to hold parents accountable when their youth are running around doing dangerous activities in the middle of the night. But you can't always involve the stick. Sometimes you do need the carrot. And I'm all for finding new and innovative ways for us to engage our youth and to create the spaces that are relevant to them in the 21st century. But at the same time, you have to ask ourselves, why do the youth want to be on the street at 3 a.m, 4 a.m? What possibly can we do to change that mindset? And to be honest, there's nothing government can do. It's up to the parents, and that's why it was so important to engage the parents in this conversation. When we had the hearing with the youth a week ago, there were no parents in the room. There were no adults saying, well, I'm trying to figure out what I can do to engage my youth so that they're not going to the lakefront, as we see in this picture, 1,000 strong attacking police officers. And I think we have to figure out, how do we rebuild that family unit so that moms and dads, grandmas and grandpas can figure out how to share their love and support for their children at home so that they're not going to the streets to find that love and acceptance. It's the same pathway that leads so many youth to gangs. We're now leading them into the dark rabbit hole of social media infamy.
You're absolutely right. And sadly, some of the parents have the same mindset. I know when we talk to a lot of lawmakers, a lot of city officials, state level officials, we've heard from people that, and I don't want to call out any names, but they've said, the parents are working. And listen, I understand that. There probably are some parents that are working that may be unaware of what their kid is doing. But some of the problem is the mentality of the parent. You have a lot of parents that act just like the 14-year-old. They're on social media twerking and drinking. And so what do you expect? And I'm just being honest. What do you expect your child to become?
Tia, you're 100% correct. And look, I came from working parents. And to make that excuse is a slap in the face to all working parents who are on their children, making sure that they are being imbued with values that are respectful of themselves, their bodies, and of their neighborhoods. Just because you're working or just because you may not have a lot of money doesn't mean you're automatically by default going to either A, be a criminal or allowed to do criminal things. And we need to understand that we are only dealing with a small subset of our youth in the greater context of Chicago's youth community. At best, we're talking about 1,000, if not 1,500 youth who engage in these kind of activities, compared to the tens of thousands who, across all communities, can go to the park, not destroy a police car, not smash and grab in a community, but who can enjoy themselves in a respectful way and then go home without any incident happening. We should be highlighting those successes with those youth, and all of those successes happened simply because you had families who taught their children better. The part that politicians don't want to say is that we know that we've been failing to strengthen our families, and we're using it as an excuse to put more money into programs which are never going to get at the root cause of what's going on.
Hey, before we let you go, we're getting the wrap, but I have to get your take on this. These violence interrupters that the mayor touts as a solution. Instead of bringing police in, let's bring these violence interrupters in. Let's give these organizations millions of dollars to do this. What is your take on that? Does it work?
Yes and no. They are good and bad. I will say that when done correctly, they can be very effective. When you have individuals who are known, particularly in some of the darker segments of our neighborhoods, and can stop conflicts before they happen, that is a win. Those are wins that are hard to quantify, but those are wins. But when you have these groups that allow people to be a part of two worlds simultaneously, the darker side of our neighborhoods as well as those trying to stop the violence, you can't be a fireman and also an arsonist at the same time. And there are many organizations that allow their members to do that.
All right, we'll leave it there. Alderman Ray Lopez, always a pleasure. Have a great, safe weekend.
Thank you, Alderman.
Happy 250, America.
Absolutely. Well, there are fireworks across Chicagoland this weekend. Make sure you head to foxchicago.com to find a full list of fireworks shows right in your area. We have more Good Day Chicago when we come back.
Michigan Avenue. This is Good Day Chicago.
We are so glad you're with us here, Tia and Natalie, because I know a lot of people have the holiday already kicked off.
Yeah.
So if you are watching, thank you.
Yes.
People scrambling, by the way. Did you hear the storms last night? They are scrambling to clean up storm damage as the holiday weekend kicks off.
Yeah, some big storms rode through overnight. I'm sure you heard them, bringing high winds, heavy rain, and flooding across the area. And we know a lot of areas got hit several times already. So the cleanup is still going. I know we talked to some folks yesterday, the south side of Chicago, in particular backlogged thousands of calls for people that need trees and all that kind of stuff removed from the road. So it'll be interesting to see what that cleanup looks like throughout the weekend.
Absolutely. Security placing finishing touches on Madison Square Garden. It's the story that never goes away.
No.
This is ahead of Taylor Swift's big wedding weekend. We are hearing the ceremony is tonight at 5:30.
That's why I'm getting out of here, because I got my invite. I got to go. So we got to wrap this up.
Some reports say there will be around 1,000 guests there. It seems, Tia, no expense was shared. And a little bit, a bridal expert, actually my wedding planner.
Oh, awesome.
Isn't that so fun? Is going to join us to talk about just how much an event like that might cost.
Yeah, too much for us to afford. All right, and law enforcement is securing the National Mall. This is ahead of a complex weekend celebrating America's 250th birthday. We are hearing there will be flyovers every hour, speeches, and of course a fireworks show. The FBI says there are no credible threats against any holiday events this weekend, so that should put your mind at ease.
5 people suing federal immigration agents over their actions during Operation Midway Blitz. Block Club Chicago reports the lawsuits focus on agents' use of tear gas and pepper spray during stuff like this and other centers on the detention of a U.S. citizen.
All right, well, this weekend there will be fireworks shows, there will be concerts, all the outdoor activities as we look at the skyline of Chicago. We want to bring in Caitlin Cody now, who's been tracking the forecast. We had those storms last night, some up until the morning. So my question is, this weekend, do we need to brace for some possible showers?
Yes, showers and storms. In the first round for today, I should say, you're right, it pushed into the early part of today, but the next round, all right, is going to be right around 11 a.m., so about an hour from now until about 2 or 3 p.m., with the focus being especially from Chicago points north. And that's tied to this activity that we will be tracking, moving in from Iowa, pushing into portions of southern Wisconsin too. But in Chicagoland right now, we're nice and dry. It's actually quite pleasant outside. Right now, it's 81 degrees at the lakefront. Upper 70s there in McHenry County, 87 there in Kankakee. And I can see the low to mid 80s in northwest Indiana. But for today, any thunderstorm could be strong to severe. We have this slight risk, level 2 out of 5 for severe weather. Damaging wind is possible, but also heavy rain leading to flooding. Frequent lightning is possible as well with these thunderstorms as they develop. So we are going to have rounds of rain and storms. And then even this evening, I mentioned this first round lasting until about 2 or 3. But then this evening, those showers and storms, they're going to be scattered. So make sure that you are in tune with the forecast, know what's happening. Tomorrow, that chance for severe weather is still there, but we're down to a marginal risk, so a level 1 out of 5 from Chicago points south. So tomorrow we could see some stronger storms yet again, especially south of the city. 3-day forecast, temperatures are improving. Today, 90 expected to be our high. It's going to feel like we could be in the upper 90s with the heat index, but tomorrow's high will be right around 86 degrees, so a very summer-like 4th of July weekend. But tomorrow, make sure you have a backup plan in case you get rained out at your 4th of July events. Back to you.
All right, Caitlin, thank you so much. We know the 4th can bring a lot of excitement, parades, right?
Sure.
Concerts and all of that. But as we've been talking, it can also be a time where we see shootings and a lot of violence.
Yeah, it's like Memorial Day weekend here in Chicago and 4th of July, unfortunately, the most violent. That's the track record. Brittany Toulis live to show us what members of the community are doing to prepare. Hi, Brittany.
Yeah, hi, guys. Actually, last year in Chicago, 4th of July weekend was the least violent the city has seen since 2019. Community organizers are hoping to keep that trend going this year. With me to talk about it, I have Zerlina Smith. She is with the Mayor's Office of Mayor's Community Safety Initiative. So, Zerlina, just tell me what we can hear or expect to hear at this press conference in about 30 minutes.
You can expect to hear a lot from community organizers who are dealing with the violence trend, not just in the Austin community, but all around the city. I am the convener for the mayor of the City of Chicago Community Safety Initiative with Black Men United. And I know that we have a plan, and we're going to make sure that it's implemented not just through the organizations, but the community as well.
And you're also one of the violence interrupters. You're out there on the streets throughout the night. What tactics are you using, and what are you encountering out there?
The tactics I'm using, I live walking distance from where we're standing at right now, is making sure we treat everybody as we would treat our own family, and making people aware, making them be more visible, telling people to come outside of their doors and actually participate in their community, making sure that everyone is safe, not just going inside their homes and closing doors. So we want a community initiative to be the first thing, whereas we're all working together with CPD and the organizations.
And when you're out there and you encounter some type of conflict, what do you do to de-escalate?
When we encounter conflicts, I mean, when you think about what that looks like, it's different for every situation. So when we try to de-escalate conflicts, we make sure that we approach it in a manner where we're safe and we're making sure that the community is safe. So de-escalating is having that one-to-one, pulling ourselves together first and foremost, making sure we're safe, mentally, physically, and emotionally healthy to walk up to someone who is doing whatever that may be a problem at that time, and saying, let's walk this off. Let's take a moment and breathe and think about tomorrow, because right now this moment could change not just your life, everybody's life that's around you.
And I mean, talking about lives changing, you have been on the other end of violence. Your nephew has had his life change after being a victim of a recent shooting. So just from that standpoint, I mean, how do you think families out there appreciate your work, making sure their loved ones get home?
Let's take a step back. We're standing where a mass shooting was, and my nephew was one of the 4 victims. One didn't make it, but my nephew was fortunate enough to make it. And I hate to say that word because he was shot 12 times, and now my sister is taking care of him 100% of the time. She's a low-wage worker, and she needs assistance. So when we're out here doing this stuff, we're not just making sure that victims are safe, protected, and we want to make sure that the holistic approach is that it's resources in the Austin community. It's resources in every community through the mayor's department, through the state, and that they get them, because my sister can't even afford to take care of her child right now who barely can take care of himself. And he's a 37-year-old who just had to move back home. So when it affects your house, it affects you. And we want to make sure that our community know it might not be you right now, but it could be you later.
And just last question, just talk to me about how that experience motivates you when you are out there on the street talking with people who may be in conflict.
It motivates me because I am an Austin resident. I grew up in the Abla homes. I've seen a lot of people lose lives, so this job is personal to me. I don't want to make anyone feel as though they shouldn't be able to come outside. I want to make sure that everyone knows that we are not here because we're paid. We're here because everyone deserves to leave their home and return in the same way. This is a problem. And the 4th of July, we want to make sure as a community, as organizations, that everyone feels safe. And when we get to work, we expect the community to work with us.
Thank you so much, Zerlina. Your work is very appreciated. And the press conference with the violence interrupters, it's expected to get going in just about 20 minutes here. It's expected to start at 10:30. And when that gets going, we'll bring that to you live as well.
What a story from Zerlina. I want you to ask her a question, Brittany, if you can. The mayor is proposing this YMCA big event to prevent teen takeovers. Unfortunately, we have seen a lot of these shootings. It struck me anyway, because a lot of the people involved, 12, 13, 14 years old. What is her solution? What does she think the solution is to curbing teen violence in particular?
Okay, I do have a question from the anchors for you. So their question, what do you think the solution is to curbing the teen violence? We're talking about teen takeovers, the city hosting one to keep those kids safe, to make sure there's some supervision. But when it comes to teen violence, what can be done?
We need to create more safe spaces. What we are tasked to do in Austin as a convener, Black Men United, we've been hosting multiple events. We have just had a successful Girls Night In where we didn't just invite girls, but we invited all teens, all ages, and it was at a local business on Chicago Avenue, and it was successful. We're having a late night basketball tournament tomorrow on the holiday, so we're giving up our holidays to create safe spaces in our community for our youth, for our adults. So what that looks like is we need more spaces to open up their doors, and more so people who get the funding to be hands-on to make sure that these communities have what they are supposed to get, which is the resources that they might already have.
Thank you so much, Zerlina. So yeah, resources, safe spaces for them to go, it sounds like, is what, as Zerlina is saying, these teens could use to keep them safe throughout not only this weekend, but weekends throughout the summer and going forward.
A great perspective from Zerlina. Brittany, you do a fantastic job as always. Thank you so much for that. And we heard Zerlina, I think it is, say that, you know, safe spaces, which I appreciate that, right? Because we do know some of these communities don't have safe spaces. But I think what part of the problem may be here, and listen, I'm no expert in, you know, social sciences and how people do and think and move and all that. But I think what's happening is you have the kids that do the right thing going to some of these things like she was talking about that they're doing, you know, throughout the course of the weekend. And I think some of the other kids that may be a little wayward, they're not interested in those just yet. So it's a mind shift that I think has to happen. And it hasn't fully happened yet. But I appreciate, you know, when you hear people that are on the ground doing the work, using the funding for the right reasons, you have to appreciate that.
And it does take a village. Like she said, it does. It certainly does. Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce's wedding day is here, maybe. And New York is absolutely buzzing. We're going to look at the tight security in place at Madison Square Garden, and we're going to talk with a bridal expert about just how expensive all of this will be. Final preparations have begun for Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce's massive wedding weekend. Yeah, celebrations are reportedly kicking off in just a few hours. I'm missing all the action sitting here. Joining us now to break down just how much this event could cost is Big City Brides, Susan Cortigan. Susan, good morning to you, and we appreciate you coming on to talk about this.
Thank you, guys. What a big day. It is America's royal wedding, I think, right? We think. It's all speculation, but there's a lot of signs or Easter eggs in Taylor Swift world that point to this is the moment. Yeah, very, very true. We want to ask you, you've been planning big weddings before, including someone that's a pretty big deal sitting next to me. How much do you estimate, just based on what we know, because we don't know all the particulars, but if you had to put a number on it, how much do you think this is going to cost? That is a great question. I know one thing, it's going to be very expensive. If it is, in fact, at Madison Square Garden tonight, we know that that rents for about $1 million a day, and they've been building the event out for several days now. So the cost of the venue alone is several $1 million. But with a venue like this, and she's supposedly building a castle, which I wouldn't put it past her. It sounds very much true. A garden party in a castle. That kind of decor and production is in the tens of millions.
Wow.
So And the labor, we all know labor is a huge cost when it comes to anything from building a house to building a wedding. So the cost of the equipment, the rental, the labor, and of course, all the entertaining, the food, the beverage.
And the flowers, Tina just brought that up. Those can be really pricey too, right, Susan?
Definitely. And you know, she's not going to go small. She's going to go big and she's going to go fancy. And I think that with her dream team of producers that do her concerts and such, they have no shortage of ideas. So it's going to be very pretty, very unique. And I can't wait to get a sneak peek.
What do you think the night is going to look like, if you could guess?
Yes. Well, Madison Square Garden is endless possibilities. It's for her a blank space. And she is a dreamer. I do see her wearing many outfits, and I think the event will replicate her vibe. I think it will be very formal to start, and then eventually it'll get a little more rowdy and fun. But I think that we could very much plan on garden being at least part of the theme, the garden party, the garden engagement, and the equipment we've been seeing loading in off the docks says garden party, and that is probably at least part of the theme. I do expect she will have multiple events in Madison Square Garden. I do think the event will move. I think that they'll go very late in the night and the event and the vibe will shift.
Yeah, I like what you said there, having a garden-themed wedding at Madison Square Garden.
Right.
We know she loves flowers. It makes complete sense. That place is going to transform beautifully. I want to ask you this because sometimes, I always say I want to ask you this, but sometimes, you know, people assume that when you're a big-time celebrity, you know, people say things like, this is how celebrities keep their money because people are always giving them things for free. So my question is, do you think in this case, anything in this wedding situation could be sponsored, could be given, because sometimes I think people assume that. So when they hear Madison Square Garden is $1 million a day, people are like, they didn't have to pay that.
Yeah, no, I do believe that there has been very stringent security and NDA's privacy about planning this. And we all know she's worth a couple billion. So I do think she's probably paying because most of the vendors hopefully had been in planning this big event, but not necessarily knowing the client. So I think that they probably ended up paying, but I'm sure that all the vendors involved are putting their best foot forward. So they're probably getting a little extra because this is going to have legs. Anyone involved in this event is definitely going to be the next cool kid in town. So
what trends do you see coming out of this that your clients are going to be asking for?
Great. That's a great question. We will see trends. Couples all over will be copying little tidbits of their wedding. We know, again, this is a royal wedding for us. We don't get weddings like this very often. She's an international celebrity and, you know, he's a famous athlete. So I think it's such a great combination. And she is a showman. So her attire, her look will definitely have an influence, and the decor, her bouquet, her gown or dresses will have an influence on what people wear. And I think that in the future, we will see kind of the Taylor Swift, Travis Kelce themed bits and pieces after parties or bridal parties throughout wedding history, just like, you know, Diana's bouquet, Princess Diana's bouquet is still popular today after decades. So Taylor and Travis's wedding will be replicated in many ways from here on out.
Yeah, I believe it. I think it'll have to be, you know, on a smaller scale for some people because our paper is not that long. But yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing how all of this plays out. Susan, you were a blast. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thanks, Susan. Good to see you.
We will keep you posted. Stay tuned. It's going down.
Yeah, it's going down. I want to see all the hairstyles.
See, I want to see
I would think you would
clothes.
transform for your outfits.
For me, it's the clothes because I went with a really unique bridal gown. It was something no one else was doing. It was like the skirt with the the short mini with the detachable skirt.
Oh, yeah, I did see the picture.
Loved it.
Yeah.
So I'm just anxious to see.
I'm a hair and makeup girly, so I can't wait to see, you know, all the transformations of the hair. But hopefully the weather in New York is good. You know, if she does have to come out, because humidity could be a factor, because it's already a factor here in Chicago, Caitlin.
When is their wedding tomorrow?
Good question. We think it may be today or tomorrow.
Today?
I mean, the lead up, it's unclear. We don't know. We didn't get the invite.
Sorry. I thought we established that it was, All right, let's talk about our weather. It is going to be a busy couple of days. We're watching for our next round of rain and storms. It's moving in from the west, now pushing into western Illinois. So we have the potential on and off, scattered showers and storms, some of which could be strong to severe today as well as tomorrow. Even on Sunday, some lingering rain, but we do get a touch of a break from the heat. We'll take a deep dive into your forecast after this.
Welcome back. You already know, or you should know, tomorrow is our nation's 250th birthday. Communities across the country are celebrating the founding of the United States.
But there's no place enjoying the lead up more than Philadelphia, the birthplace of America. And that's where we find Fox's Pete Cudahy at Independence Mall. Pete, what is the historical significance there?
Hey, Tia and Natalie. Well, it's the most historic square mile in America, and that's for good reason. I mean, you have the Liberty Bell here, you have the President's House, but arguably the most important building is that one behind me, Independence Hall. And that's because the two most important documents in America's history were created there, two documents the country lives by till this day. This may look like any other historical building in Old City, Philadelphia, but this is the Declaration Graph House, where over roughly 3 weeks in the summer of 1776, Thomas Jefferson took the first steps toward democracy.
He's got to write a document on spec just in case Congress decides to take the next dramatic step to declare independence. And it's in the rooms in this house that he writes the Declaration of Independence.
After writing the first draft, it was revised by a 5-member committee.
Jefferson's language is tweaked and changed, things like unalienable, inalienable, down to the level of punctuation, the changes that were made between Jefferson and Congress.
And then presented to the Second Continental Congress.
Debate about independency is actually only a couple of direct days of debate inside of Independence Hall. The idea of becoming independent is a very slow roll that speeds up very quickly in the month of June 1776.
Weeks later, on July 4th, 1776, Congress adopted the Declaration of Independence inside of the Pennsylvania State House. We now know it as Independence Hall.
They knew they were changing the world. They knew they were in the midst of the revolution. But of all the things they were doing, this single document only seemed to become significant years later. So they probably would have been surprised that it's still in effect, that we still believe in life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness.
4 days later, on July 8th, it's read to citizens for the first time.
It takes 10 minutes to read that document out loud.
It was in that same room 11 years later, delegates gathered again to revise the Articles of Confederation, creating the Constitution, which remains our framework for government.
The timeline for the Constitution is a little bit longer because it is a purposeful body coming together to deal with issues of governance. So it's a 4-month process to write, debate, and sign the United States Constitution.
There's a little history for you guys in Chicago. Now, it's believed that in the summer of 1776, it was very hot here in Philadelphia. Well, I bet you it's hotter now in 2026, where it's going to get up to the triple digits today. It already caused a parade down the city to be canceled, but that hasn't stopped people from coming and just visiting the birthplace of America at this very important time, a milestone for our nation. In Philadelphia, Pete Cudahy, Fox Chicago.
I'm sure they're out there, but they got a bottle of water handy. Pete, go get yourself some shade. Thank you so much for that live report. And speaking of weather, we got to talk about our weather here at home.
Yeah, and unfortunately, we do have rain in the forecast, Caitlin.
That's right. Rain and storms headed our way even later this morning into the early afternoon. You can see from that live shot of the bead, people out and about. I don't blame you. It's beautiful this morning. We've got blue sky, just a few fair weather clouds, but I want to start off showing you the area of thunderstorms that's now pushing into western Illinois, headed our direction between about 11 a.m., so about the next hour, 11:30 until about 2 or 3, we're going to have the potential for rain and storms, especially along and north of I-80. So watch out for that thunderstorm cluster that's headed our way. We could have a few strong to severe thunderstorms today, including damaging wind, lightning, and also heavy rain. Could lead to some flooding in our area. Right now, though, it's 83 degrees outside with a west-southwest breeze at 5 to 10. So it is going to be a day. This week, it has been very hot, okay? Today, a day where we're getting a touch of relief. Around the area, our actual temperatures are ranging in the 80s. It's 83 at O'Hare, 87 in Joliet, 87 in Morris. Northwest Indiana, temperatures are in the mid to upper 80s. Highs today are going to be right around 90, but the feel-like temperature could actually be in the mid to upper 90s this afternoon. So it's still going to be toasty with that chance for rain and storms. Even into tonight, the chance for scattered thunderstorms. Hopefully we can get in those fireworks shows, though, before the thunderstorms move on in. Temperatures dropping down to the low and mid 70s as our overnight low. And tomorrow, a bit more relief as highs reach the upper 80s, but we are going to have that chance for scattered showers and thunderstorms around. Here's our futurecast to show again, starting in late morning, early afternoon. Those thunderstorms will be moving on in. I'll show you the rest of our futurecast and time out the rest of our evening in case you have plans outside. Ahead.
Thank you, Caitlin. Well, imagine suffering through this heat with no air conditioning. For a lot of people in Chicago, this is definitely a reality, and it could get worse as concerns grow over the power grid. We're going to dive deeper into what this could mean for Chicago summers in the next hour of News on the Loop.
Welcome back. As we celebrate the nation's 250th birthday, we look back on the moments from our past that shaped our present.
Kate Masur is the John D. MacArthur Professor of History at Northwestern, Professor of History for short. She joins us now. So, Kate, there's so many things to get to here. What do you think are some points in the founding of our nation that people really don't understand or really should know?
Thanks for having me. I think it's really nice to have this 2026 250th anniversary of the Declaration of Independence, because the Declaration is truly one of the most important and I would argue best documents in American history. The Declaration of Independence includes the phrase, "We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal." It says that people are entitled to unalienable rights, including life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And it also says governments derive their just powers from the consent of the governed, which is kind of a way of saying that the only legitimate form of government is a form of government where people consent to the government that they are living under. And so I think these principles of equality, of democracy are really important to this day. And I think that, I hope that this 250th is going to allow people to reflect on those and the work we're still doing to make them real.
Professor Kate, I think about, sometimes when we talk about our nation's past, a lot of people don't want to talk about the bad parts of the past. They only want to celebrate the good parts. But we can't talk about history without talking about all of it. And I want to talk about, our nation's founders, they always talked about liberty and equality, but many of them themselves had slaves. Talk about that American paradox.
Yeah, as a historian, as someone who teaches history, I think it's critical to teach the whole history of the United States. And that includes that really interesting and kind of tragic reality that a lot of those founders, including Thomas Jefferson, the person who, is attributed to have written those words, "All men are created equal," was himself the owner of many, many slaves, and that this country was founded both on the notion of equality and consent of the governed and on African slavery, and to that I would add also the dispossession of Native Americans. All these things are true at once, and we really, I hope that we can all grapple with those realities, the realities of kind of a commitment to freedom and equality, and also the reality that many Americans absolutely have not been committed to those high principles.
And not only based on race, but gender as well. Women didn't have the rights, certainly, that they have today either. Talk a little bit about why Reconstruction is often known today as the nation's second founding.
So, I think, again, I hope we can talk about all of American history. And, the founding era got us off to an okay start, I would say. And the Constitution, obviously, as your previous segment was saying, we are still living in some ways under the original Constitution of the founding era, but the Constitution has changed a lot over time, as you said. The women didn't have the right to vote. We had the 19th Amendment, but it wasn't until the second decade of the 20th century. And so Reconstruction is this really pivotal period after the Civil War where Americans dramatically revised the Constitution. The three amendments, the 13th, 14th, and 15th Amendments, abolished slavery, promised certain kinds of equal rights to all persons, not just citizens, but to all persons, and also barred racial discrimination in the right to vote. So even as the founding period was critical for the formation of the United States, it really wasn't until after the Civil War and the abolition of slavery that we kind of got the Constitution that in many respects is the one we know today.
I want you to talk about your book, Until Justice Be Done, America's First Civil Rights Movement from the Revolution to Reconstruction, and it's also a finalist for the Pulitzer Prize. Talk about that book and really what you delve into.
Thanks so much. Yeah, so I wrote that book. It came out in 2021, and I hope it's still relevant now. But I really talk in that book about a northern struggle for civil rights that happened between the Revolution and the Civil War. So in free states, including here in Illinois, a lot of free states had anti-Black laws. So while the free states had abolished slavery, there were still a lot of provisions that cast free Black people as non-citizens, put certain kinds of rules on them that didn't apply to white people, barred black men from the right to vote, barred black children from public education. And so Americans and Illinoisans really fought over the question of racial equality for decades before the Civil War even happened. And in the book, I argue that those pre-Civil War debates about racial equality actually fed into the second founding, the Reconstruction era. So we get the 14th and 15th Amendments partly because there had been this ongoing struggle in the North over race and equality.
And do you think that's in part why here in the state of Illinois we have some of, I think we actually have the most sundown towns in a state? Do you think that plays into it, what you were talking about there, looking at the North specifically?
Yeah, I mean, Illinois was a really divided state in that period, in some ways as it is today, where some people, some white Illinoisans didn't want black people living in their communities, had, these kind of sundown rules, wanted these black laws, they called them black laws to remain. These were the laws that said free black people couldn't even migrate into the state. Once they were there, they had to register with local officials. And then there were a lot of Illinois residents, including black residents, people like John Jones, who's one of the most famous black Illinoisans of this period, but also a lot of white residents who thought all of those measures were really unjust and wanted to see them eliminated. So you see a lot of debates in the Illinois legislature in like the 1840s, 1850s about these questions. And then they don't really resolve them in favor of a more racial equality until like the 1860s. But on the other hand, those pockets of kind of support for segregation or black exclusion or white supremacy continue on for sure.
Kate, thank you so much for your take on this. Just very insightful. We appreciate your time and happy 4th of July.
Thank you. Same to you. Have a great day.
Thank you.
All right, well, coming up, local blues musicians are helping shape Chicago's next generation of artists. Fernando Jones joins us after the break to talk about his free blues camp right at Columbia College. Stay with us. We'll be right back. All right, welcome back to Good Day Chicago. We've been talking about this presser that was going to start specifically about violence interrupters right here in the city of Chicago. We know Brittany Toulis has been talking about this all morning. We want to take a listen.
We want to get on the front end. So that's all part of our strategy today, and I have other people that will speak on behalf of Violence Interrupters and Black Men United and other organizations out here and community residents. And right when during the end of this press conference, we plan to walk the community and distribute literature as well to a lot of the people in the community, for the people that might be out. But most important, we'll be out at night. The nighttime hours. We plan to hit the streets again today from 4 p.m. to 12 midnight, just walking all around the city. And if anybody from the news would like to shadow us a little bit while we out there, just give me a call, and I'll tell you where we are, and you can come out and see what's happening there, all right? So with that being said, right now I'm going to bring up Mr. Elliot Jackson. He's one of the senior violence interrupters with us and one of our public spokespersons. And then we'll bring other speakers up to talk as well, all right? And any questions for me, we'll hold them to the end if you have some questions for me. Come on, bro. All right.
So,
you good? Come on, step on.
As Elliot Jackson, I-E-L-I-O-T, Jackson, common spelling. And on behalf of not just violence interrupters, but anyone that does CVI work, we understand that this weekend has the potential of being a violent weekend. So we want to do the best that we can to have a presence in the communities that we serve, so that our communities would know that, you know, violence ain't the only answer. You know, we have a chance to continue on the pace that we did last year with record low numbers of shootings and killings. So that is what is important. And it's going to take not just CVI workers, but it's going to take the communities at large to come out and be a presence. We hoping and praying that this holiday weekend, in the celebration of the 250 years that America has been a part of its great work, I guess we could say, that these 250 years really means something to all of us at large. So it's a celebration, so that you know, that we could really come together as communities and stop this senselessness that's so prevalent in our communities. So on behalf, once again, of violence interrupters and CVI workers all across the city of Chicago, we are hoping that as a unit, we could all do the work that needs to be done. Thank you.
That's perfect. All right, so with that being said, Ms. Zerlina Smith is going to come up and take the microphone on behalf of Black Men United. You want to stand with your sister here? You two young ladies, come on up.
Let's super short.
No, you guys are great. We just read a couple of taller guys before you.
Yeah.
Yes.
Say your name and spell.
All right.
Zerlina Smith, Zerlinasmith. I am with Black Men United, but I am tasked to be the mayor, city of Chicago. I'm nervous, pay me no mind, and plus I'm just overwhelmed because I want to make sure that we're not standing here just speaking on deaf ears, that we're speaking to the people that need to hear why we're here. Yeah. I am the convener for the City of Chicago, the Mayor's Office Community Safety Initiative for Austin. I'm standing here with not just my daughter, but community residents. We want to make sure that everyone knows that the City of Chicago will use their resources to help, not just for today, but tomorrow. So if you have any concerns about what might happen, because we've listened to a lot of community issues around the 4th of July and the needs in Austin, and what the needs look like is the resources. We want to make sure that people know we are working together. We want to make sure everyone makes it home safely. We want to make sure that whatever it is that you need, that the City of Chicago has tasked me to make sure that all our CVI organizations get exactly what you need to be successful in preventing gun violence or any violence on the 4th of July and moving forward. If you have any questions, reach out to T.O. Hardeman, Violence Interrupters. They will be out on the street, and we will be working with them 24 hours to make sure whatever resources they need, they have on hand. If we have to do mobile transportation, if we have to come to homes to do mediation, we're going to make sure that not just as people, but as concerned residents. It's not just Austin, it's across the city. We're going to use our own funds. We're going to do what we have to do to make sure we do not have a repeat of last year, and we move forward and make sure we have a happy 4th of July and we celebrate together as one. Thank you.
Okay, so I was hoping we would hear a little bit of the strategy there, and it looks like primarily domestic situations is what they're intervening in. I do want to mention this statistic, though. Tia, we've had at least 30 mass shooting incidents so far this year. And I don't know that all of those were domestic. I mean, some of those could probably be construed as gang related. So I'm curious to see kind of how far they're going to take this.
I think Theo Hardiman was talking about, going block by block on the streets, trying to prevent violence from unfolding. We do know, according to Brittany Tulis, who was out there, that at least last year, and I know no shooting is a good thing, right? I'm not here to say that it is, but she did say at least last year for the holiday weekend, the city of Chicago recorded some of the lowest numbers in terms of gun violence. But when you look at the lead up to this particular weekend, there are some concerning numbers. Today is the 3rd, right? And just yesterday, there was a shooting that happened in the 7600 block of South Austin that left 2 people dead, 2 people injured. Brittany was there.
Yes.
June 19th, there was a drive-by shooting in Roseland. 12 people. That was a mass shooting that you're talking about there. June 5th, a shooting in the back of the Yards neighborhood left 2 people dead and 5 injured. And when you look at how many people have been involved in shooting incidents, how many incidents we've had of shootings overall, through the first 6 months of the year, Chicago police recorded 686 overall shooting incidents. So the numbers right now don't look good as we lead into this weekend, but still acknowledging that, around this time last year, the numbers were down. So we'll see. If their strategy, it works, we'll be able to see it.
We'll see. So we'll stay on top of that, obviously. At 10:46 now, we want to turn the corner. Young musicians have the chance to learn from some of the best this week at Fernando Jones's free blues camp.
Yeah, things like this helping really to keep the kids going in the right direction. This camp has been held at Columbia College Chicago for more than 15 years. Jones is in studio to talk about the importance of this opportunity. One thing that I hear right away, free. That's a big deal.
Yes, it is. Well, we want to remove any barrier that a child or a parent would have to have this wonderful experience. And it is in tandem, I guess, with a number of things that are free in Chicago, like the free music festivals that we have. And at Columbia College, we want kids to have an experience on a college campus. And whether a kid comes from a social, economic advantaged or disadvantaged position, they should not be penalized for wanting to come study America's roots music with my team and myself.
I like that.
Fernando, how have you seen the blues over these 15 years transform kids here in the city of Chicago?
Well, I've seen the blues transform the lives of many kids in the city of Chicago and across the country and across the globe by way of our program in ways more than just the music impact. I've seen the friendships that have come out of this. I've seen the friendships that have evolved through music, and kids may have never thought about going to college before have gone and have excelled and have come back to help other little guys and little girls at blues camp.
I was looking at, some of the places where you host this. It's not just here on, soil here in the United States. You've done this in Tokyo, London, and Ghana.
Yes.
Is coming up in August. Talk about how, you've been able to kind of spread the roots of the blues.
Well, we've been able to spread the roots of the blues throughout the world. First of all, I started off as a kid playing the blues under the tutelage of my brothers. And so I understand from the perspective of a little guy that wanted to play with other kids, and other kids weren't around to be able to play. And so with the help of our donors and our funders and academic institutions, and obviously having a product that is worthy of someone receiving, has made it easy for those seeds to grow and become the flowers that you see today.
What is it about blues music that really hits home for people and can transform lives?
Well, I think blues is transformative because it is a natural, it is almost like an organic and a natural form of music, because it is an indigenous African-American form of art. So it's really natural, and it is part of the molecular structure of American music. So it's almost like a no-brainer from that perspective. And also going back to the part about seeing some of the lives that have been transformed through this program and through my involvement as the founding blues ensemble director at Columbia College, a number of the folks that are under 40 years old that are playing the blues and making an impact, especially here in Chicago, have come by way of me or my program. So I'm happy about that. And we've got some little ones, some little blues kids. I mean, just at the Blues Fest alone, my dear friend Pamela Mack, her group, The Not Us Band, which I'm the program director for. They'll be coming through Blues Camp. They're making an impact. Patch of Blues, which everybody that's in that band came from Blues Camp, and you know, didn't even really know what an instrument was for the most part when they started. So we're making an impact. And once again, it's free. And we have room for maybe at least 25 more student musicians that can play any instrument or sing. We publicly promote 12 years old to 18, but if you know a 9, 10, or 11-year-old that can benefit from this experience, they can reach us at blueskids.com or call us at 779-BLUES-ME.
I think sometimes people hear blues, they think music, and they don't think history. Talk about how important it is to make sure that that history carries on to other generations, as, not to say you're getting old, Fernando, but as people get older that have been doing this for a while, that, you know, when we look back 20, 30 years from now, we'll say, wow, we got some young people that know what's going on.
I think one of the things that we do and we pay attention to is the fact that the kids, even though they're young, they too are part of that history. Right. And we encourage them that their story is important, as well as being connected to what came before them. And, you know, it would be intellectually disingenuous. I think sometimes when people think that, okay, well, the gold standard of the blues was 100 years ago or 50 years ago, when all the great songs that have always yet to be written. Sure. So a kid that is 9 years old coming to Blues Camp is as important as Robert Johnson.
I want you to play us out to commercial break, sir. Maybe one of the songs that you first teach students when they're learning to play the blues.
Well, one of the things that we do, we teach the kids a song called Chicago's Got Everything You Need, which is a call and response, and it promotes Chicago.
What do you need us to say?
Repeat after me, the call and response.
Here we got it.
I say Chicago.
Chicago
has got everything you need, has got
everything you need.
I say Chicago.
Chicago
has got everything you need.
Got everything you need.
We've got a great lake.
A great lake.
And go play the streets.
And go play the streets.
We've got hot dogs. And championship teams.
And a championship team.
We've got soul food.
Soul food.
And championship teams.
And championship teams.
We are the city that works.
The city that works.
With a skyline that's mean.
With a skyline that's mean.
Thank you very much. You can catch us on Saturday at your local bar. No, I'm just kidding. Stay with us right here on Good Day Chicago. Thank you, Fernando.
You're welcome.
We'll be right on back. See you on the other side of this break.
That started out a little rough.
Thank you.
All right, we are celebrating America's 250th birthday. And with that, we want to keep celebrating.
Yeah.
Take a look at this.
You just keep those nearby just in case. The United States and the Three Fires Council, Ojibwe, Odawa, and Potawatomi nations negotiated the treaties of Chicago in 1821 and 1833. The United States coerced and threatened the nations into ceding first nearly 4 million acres, then, in the second treaty, 5 million acres leading up to the lake shore. The land where the Chicago History Museum now sits is on unceded territory belonging to the Three Fires Council.
1848 was one of, if not the most consequential years in Chicago's history. In April of that year, we opened the 96-mile-long IMN Canal, connecting the Great Lakes to the Illinois and Mississippi River, opening up trade with the rest of the world. In April, also that same year, we established the Chicago Board of Trade, bringing stabilization to the corn and grain market, which was often volatile. And later that same year, we also got underway with construction for the Chicago and Galena Railroad, foreshadowing the city's history as the nation's transportation capital.
In early October 1871, an immense fire swept up from the near south side through today's route, stretching all the way to Fullerton Avenue, destroying everything in its path. What could have ended Chicago instead transformed it, and the city quickly rebuilt, although in ways that reinforced existing inequalities. In early May 1886, working people across the country went on strike to favor an 8-hour workday. Here in Chicago, in response to an act of police violence, workers gathered at what they thought would be a peaceful rally that itself turned violent when a bomb was thrown into the crowd. 8 Chicago police officers lost their lives, and 8 men were put on trial, 4 ultimately executed, although the bomber was never identified.
The Hull House settlement of Chicago was an international innovator in the progressive reform movement. Jane Addams and Ellen Gates Starr co-founded the Settlement House in 1889. They welcomed immigrants to come and live and work at the house, and they focused on changing laws and circumstances for people around the city on everything from health and sanitation to juvenile justice to just making sure that children had a play space with the first playground in the city.
1893 World's Columbian Exposition. In the summer and fall of 1893, over 27 million people visited the World's Columbian Exposition, the first Chicago World's Fair. While a lot of them went to 14 immense structures known as the Court of Honor, including today's Museum of Science and Industry, the star attraction was the very first Ferris wheel. While the fair set out to show the accomplishments of all Americans, people of color and indigenous people were excluded. In late July 1919, 17-year-old Eugene Williams was swimming in Lake Michigan. He inadvertently drifted into what was considered a whites-only area of Lake Michigan, and a bigot on the lakeshore threw rocks at him, striking and killing Williams. Violence then erupted across the South Side, exposing the city's long-simmering racial tensions and prejudices.
In December of 1942, a group of scientists working under the top-secret Manhattan Project under Stagg Field at the University of Chicago campus successfully conducted the world's first contained nuclear reaction. This scientific breakthrough, led by Italian-American scientist Enrico Fermi, ushered the world into what we today know as the atomic age with the development of the atom bomb.
Harold Washington was the first African-American mayor of Chicago. A rainbow coalition of African-American, Latino, and white voters elected him twice in 1983 and 1987. Rudy Lozano, who started out as a labor organizer, was crucial to communicating with the Latino voter base and engaging them in voting for Washington. Washington distanced himself from the Democratic machine and worked on change for all Chicagoans.
On May 1st of 2006, more than 500,000 Chicagoans gathered